Now, getting straight into chapter 155 of Chainsaw Man, called The Old Me, starts off back at the scene where Baron was pointing a gun at Nayata, almost ready to shoot. This time, however, a civilian shouts for everyone to just stop. Nayata is just a kid. Another civilian chimes in to say that someone died due to her controlling people, but the original asks everyone to just calm down and take a moment. It's barely been a day since everything started and everyone acting crazy, stating that everyone should just come back to their senses. Nayata looks at Barum and he begins to say, "Too bad this is out of bullets." And to everyone's shock, he's pointing the gun at his own head. People look on in horror as Barum suddenly begins to shout, "Help me," accusing Nayata of still controlling her. She tries to tell everyone that she's not, but it's too late, and as the civilians begin to swing at her, all she can do is look on in fear. We see the house burning, and then get a small flashback of Nayata and the dogs arriving with Denji. Denji says that this is his home, but is now also her home, and Nayata thinks to herself, asking why does she pity this particular human? But now cuddling up with Denji and the dogs in bed, she asks herself again, why does she want this particular heart? She asks herself a third time, who exactly is she? And we see her place a chain into Denji's head, searching his memories for who she was previously, which she knows to be someone called Makima. Now, searching through his memories, she wants to understand her old self and vows to destroy his contract with Pochita and his dreams of living a normal life so that Chainsaw Man will be awoken, which is the very same goal that the old her once saw. Nayata then says to herself that if she grants her previous self's wish, then she might just find out who she is. She'll then fill this human with happiness and destroy it. And hello? I'm sorry, what? Can Denji just take a break? Can one person in his life not want to kill him, please? He's honestly definitely a runner-up to Guts in who can suffer the most main character competition. We do get a few scenes then of their normal life together doing silly things like drawing and walking the dogs. Nayata smiles and calls Denji an idiot for seeming to not think about anything. We then see Nayata and Denji in bed, and she tells him off for saying mean things before calling him a student and Chainsaw Man, but stops short asking who she is. Denji just calmly starts to talk and reaches over to stroke her head, telling her that she's his family. Nayata responds calling him cheesy, and the scene then switches to a young Denji telling himself that because he chose Chainsaw Man, he threw away the potential for having a family. The young Denji then maliciously states that there's no way he could ever have a family, especially since he killed his own dad. And Denji suddenly springs awake, sweating from the terrible dream he just had, and stares at the ceiling. We then see that he seems to be lying in a hospital bed, all healed up from his injuries, and the chapter ends there on this cliffhanger of Denji in a strange new environment. But before we get into the rest of the chapter, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps my small channel grow. Also, I've made a Patreon and it's in the description below. Support me if you'd like. In the next chapter 156, called it's called Whup Bzz Split Split, which is probably the most interesting title I've ever read, and honestly I had no idea whether I should try pronounce it or not. It's probably maybe something to do with the sound of a chainsaw. But getting into the chapter, a helicopter flies overhead and Denji stares in the hospital bed, still sweating from his nightmare. He remembers playing with Nayata's hair and calls out to her, but before he could finish the sentence, someone asks him if he's awake. And it turns out to be Yoshida leaning up against the wall watching him. He states that Denji slept like a log, but Denji's immediate reaction is to ask where Nayata is. However, Yoshida is silent, and Denji asks again, more panicked this time, and he finally responds saying sorry, he doesn't know either. Denji shouts again, demanding where Nayata is, and tries to get out of bed, but falls to the ground crying out in pain. Yoshida bends down and pats Denji, telling him he's been asleep this entire week, and won't be able to walk right away. Furious now, Denji asks why he didn't wake him up, but Yoshida stands up before saying he thought he dumbed it down for Denji. If he turns into Chainsaw Man, he can't be guaranteed a normal life. Denji broke the rules, and there's nothing more he can help him with. Yoshida then leaves Denji drooling on the floor, and he drifts off again into a deep sleep. Yoshida, now with the other public safety devil hunters, states that he put him back under as he holds a needle in his hand. Fumiko compliments his job well done, but looks down almost ashamed before asking him if they're seriously going to dismember Denji. Yoshida confirms this, but Fumiko asks if she can pluck some of his hair or nails before that happens, since she's got to add him to her collection. He asks if she's really a Chainsaw Man fan, and she just bluntly responds she sure is. She's a collector, a totally normal thing for collectors to do, getting a toenail or piece of hair of your favorite idol, yeah. The scene goes dark and we see Pochita's feet, and another young Denji telling Pochita they have to get up. Pochita asks why, and Denji responds saying he has to save Nayata, but Pochita stops and looks at Denji, repeating what he just said. Denji is silent, and Pochita continues asking how could Denji save her without his legs, and it's then revealed that Denji is on the operating table with a leg already dissected off. The doctors gather around him and one of them holds up a saw asking for suction. No, not that kind of suction, but to make the saw go wop wop bzzz. Oh wait, that's why the title's called that. The saw starts to burst and Denji's leg is cleanly amputated. The doctor then states that the amputation is completed and asks to bag it before preparing to start on the next section. A special division agent stands idly by, smoking a cigarette, and one of the doctors asks him to stop smoking and leave the room since it's making him unable to concentrate. The agent disregards this by saying that his job is to kill Chainsaw Man if he flees. But the doctor plainly states where they are is the Tokyo Devil Detention Center, and since its founding, no devil has ever escaped the facility. Armed personnel are on the site around the clock, and they've prepared for any contingency, including the recent Chainsaw Man incident. But a girl seems to stand at the entrance of the facility while the doctor continues to say it would take a war to compromise this facility's safety, which is definite proof that this girl is Asa, and I mean, come on, he said it would take a war and Asa has Yoro inside her, which is the war devil. It's definitely a no-brainer. But talking about the recent chapters, I'm kind of confused where the story is going. It feels like it takes a few steps forward for the better to only take a few more steps back for the worse. And not for the worse in terms of writing per se, but the well-being of the characters. Which, although if I'm honest, can make the writing feel very slow, as if it's taking so long to actually get anywhere meaningful. And I do remember saying something on one of my first chapter reviews, and it's that Chainsaw Man is best enjoyed when you can read all the chapters in one go. If you're reading it weekly, then it kind of can be such a drag, which is precisely why I'm doing 2 chapters at a time rather than 1. Hopefully when Asa and Denji finally meet, things will get moving again, but it does feel like it's going at a snail's pace. It's now coming to the end of the video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy you stopped by. My channel is steadily growing and I'm amazed at the support I'm getting. And I also have a Patreon now, so feel free to support me however you like. The link will be in the description and I will shout out names at the end of each video. Thank you again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.